Ahead of Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte this weekend, everyone's saying the same thing. All Itauma's got to do is throw the uppercut. And with good reason. Dillian Whyte's been knocked down or stopped by an uppercut on multiple occasions by multiple different opponents. But what's really going on here? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down for you, tactically, why Dillian Whyte has been stopped so many times by this particular punch. There's a very specific reason for it, in my opinion, and it might not be the uppercut itself that is necessarily the problem. I don't think Dillian Whyte's actually got some magical off switch. I think there's actually much more to this, much more logic and reason. So I'm going to be breaking all this down for you and trying to answer the question, can Moses Itauma land that all-important shot? Let's jump into the game film as I break it down for you in this video. Hello everyone and welcome back to A Guy Called Henry. As you can see, I'm back in full flow. I'm posting regular content and my voice is slowly coming back after the Oasis concert I attended the other night. And before I make my prediction for this fight, I wanted to break down this tactical element. Obviously, you guys will have seen the video that me and Jamie from Boxing Life did where we tried to figure out if Moses Itauma has any weaknesses. And the reason we made that video is because there aren't any glaring weaknesses in Itauma. He's not been tested yet. So we wanted to try and work out if there's anything we could pick or decipher from what he's done so far. The thing about Dillian Whyte is those weaknesses are far more glaring because he has been knocked out on multiple occasions and knocked down. But rather than just saying, oh, Dillian Whyte, all you got to do is hit him with an uppercut, I wanted to try and break down for you guys why the uppercut has been an issue shot for him and what the underlying problem is behind that. All before looking at what I think Moses Itauma may be able to do with this information, what I'm sure Davison and Lee Wiley, that team, will have analysed about Dillian Whyte. Just before I jump into this one, guys, I honestly can't wait for this fight. I want to learn more about Itauma. I want to see if Dillian Whyte's got a bit more left than we think. If you want to find out too, please consider buying the pay-per-view using my link in the description. It will cost you exactly the same and it helps to support the channel, and I'll be doing a live watch along so we can all watch the fight together and you can tune into my commentary if that's something you'd like to do. Also, bang a like on this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe to A Guy Called Henry if you're new. And get your comment in the comments section below. What do you make about Whyte's weakness to uppercuts, and do you think Itauma can land that shot? So to begin here, what I want to show you guys is the problem with Dillian Whyte. I'm going to go through chronologically all the times that he's been knocked down by an uppercut and show you a couple more things that I think explain to us why this shot has been an issue. On the different occasions, it's happened for different reasons, but there's been a fundamental underlying problem with Dillian Whyte that has allowed those shots to cause as much damage as they have. And it's there for all to see. So we'll begin with Anthony Joshua, the first time he was knocked out, lost a fight, and in particular was hit by a huge uppercut. Now, just in the build-up to him getting hit by that haymaker uppercut, I'm sure you guys all remember it, the one that stopped him, the one that launched Anthony Joshua's career, we had this moment where his legs went wobbly, and it's important to acknowledge this because when a fighter is on shaky legs, it can be hard to fight on, it can be hard to, take a shot, so you could argue the uppercut that eventually finished the fight was just, the final nail in the coffin. The real damage was done before that. But I believe it's the same flaw that led to that knockout. So I'll show you here. AJ has extended his lead hand. And what he's trying to do here is bait Dillian Whyte to throw something so he can counter it. And Dillian does take that bait here. He extends the jab himself. So he's holding that lead hand out. Dillian instantly reacts by throwing out his own lead hand. And AJ instinctively reacts by throwing the right hand. And look, Dillian does actually land his lead hand here as he throws it. Boom, hits Joshua, just cuffs him on the chin, but Joshua rolls away at the same time. Now, you'll see as this shot hits Dillian Whyte, what he's done with his head here. When Dillian jabs here, he doesn't turn his body particularly. He doesn't step his foot forward. His feet actually stay in the same position, so he ends up with quite a narrow stance. And what you'll notice he does here is he moves his head forwards. So if we take it back, you'll see as he throws it, he leans forwards. His weight ends up going over his front leg. And that's a problem. Because if your weight's on your front leg, you're falling over yourself. And as a result of that, his head comes forward. AJ throws this shot here. And you can see, as AJ lands the shot, he hits Dillian clean on the temple, which is a problem position. You don't want to be getting hit there. And it's all because his weight has come forward as he's thrown that counter lead hand. Now, if I take you to the knockout, which comes moments later, we can see here what's happened. So Dillian's on the ropes. He's gloved up. And AJ's looking to throw this right hand. So AJ chucks it in. And what Whyte does to defend that is, you can see here, he's dipped down. He's dipped forward so that the right hand is going over the top of Dillian Whyte's head. Now, as I edge it forward, you'll see what happens here. Dillian's still leaning forward here as he comes round. He's still hunched over. And then as we take it forward a few more frames, you see he pops his head up. So he's come up straight now. The issue with his position here is that he's very, very square. And his guard is wide. One hand's here, one hand's here. The point is that he's going to be open up the middle. And AJ instantly understands this. And so the ideal for him is to chuck the uppercut in, which is exactly what he does. One of Anthony Joshua's favourite punches at the time. Wings it in, and you can see here the position Dillian Whyte's. He's trying to get away, but he's totally square. His guard is totally open. AJ bangs in that uppercut. Bosh, hits Dillian Whyte on the chin, flicks his head back, and Dillian's out for the count there. So the issue here was that his defense was to dip down when Anthony Joshua threw that right hand. He ends up leaning his body forward. He ends up very square. He pops up, and as he comes round, Anthony Joshua flings in that uppercut. So the issue here is he's too square, and he's come up, and he's stayed in that square position, and his guard is right open. He's just there to be hit. Is this a consistent theme with Dillian Whyte? Well, I'm going to show you. So this fight here is the Óscar Rivas fight, and I think a lot of people forget about this knockdown. But again, it's an uppercut. And it's easily forgotten because Dillian does get up and win this fight. But Rivas does manage to land this knockdown blow, and so I want to have a look at why he was able to land that. So if you watch here, Dillian Whyte's back on the ropes. Dillian Whyte, sorry, is back on the ropes. Rivas applying pressure. Now watch. Dillian Whyte has thrown his backhand here, and it's gone over Rivas' shoulder. Rivas has slipped his head. He's got off the line there. He's got his head out that way. And again, you see straight away the problem here. Look at Dillian Whyte's body position. He's leaning forwards. His weight is over his front foot. It means he's leaning forwards, and it makes you susceptible. It makes you square. It's very difficult to be in any other position when your weight is over your lead foot like that. And so now he's in this hunched position, and that moment it's not taken advantage of. But here, again, it's the same situation as when AJ throws the right hand. Dillian Whyte sees the right hand coming over. You can see he's looking at it. You see his eye line there. He's looking down there, and he sees the right hand being wound up. So as it comes in, what does Whyte do? He dips under it. That's what he likes to do. He dips down, and he ends up in a very, very similar position to AJ. The AJ fight, sorry. He's leaning over with Rivas in a position to punch. So hunched forward, comes up square. As he comes up, boom, the uppercut lands, and he goes down. Just to show you that again. It's come from that position. He's leaned, hunched forward. And now look, the way you would get around this is you would step this foot out, and you would pivot on it, and you'd bring yourself up as you pivot. I don't think Whyte's got the footwork for that kind of thing. So he tries to pull himself straight up, and you can see Rivas just chucks in that uppercut. And again, you know, it's the same thing as with the AJ one. His hand's out here, his other hand's down here. There's a big gap up the middle, and he's very square. So it's just easy to know where his chin's going to be. Rivas throws it, and he knocks him down. Now, we'll jump forward to when he was knocked out by old Povetkin at fight camp. And this was a dramatic finish from Povetkin because Dillian Whyte was actually boxing really well in this fight. He was winning the fight. It looked like he was en route to a victory. He'd knocked Povetkin down already at this point in the fight. So it seemed like things were going to be okay for him. And then this dramatic moment happened. Now watch here what happens. So Povetkin throws the jab, and then he pivots round. So watch, he touches Whyte there. He pivots round. As he pivots round and gets his head off the line. So I'll show you again. So as you can imagine here, there's the line down the middle. You always want to get your head off the line as you attack. So Povetkin gets to the outside of that line. As he does that, Whyte throws the right hand. And as I've shown you, when Dillian Whyte throws his shots, he tends to lean forward. And he throws his right hand. It goes over Povetkin's shoulder. And as you can see, his weight, again, is over his front foot. His shoulders are pretty square. And there is a gap up the middle of his guard. And Povetkin and you can see he squares up even more. He turns to face Povetkin, actually. What he really should do, again, what he needs to do here is pivot out, is take a step as he throws, maybe have his foot more like here, and pivot round and get his head off the line as he pivots, and he would have been okay. But because he is quite square, Dillian Whyte, because his feet aren't the best, in my opinion, I'm going to show you more of that in a moment, why his feet are not the best, because the Fury uppercut he landed, I'm sure you'll remember that one, is a little bit different from these, but it's a similar thing again. So watch, as he overthrows, he pivots round, and look at this position here. Glove here somewhere. His chin's tucked in, but he's so square. I mean, ridiculously square, perfectly lined up for an uppercut. He's leaning forward, and boom, Povetkin lands that shot, and Dillian Whyte got absolutely iced. And so in those examples I've shown you there, what's happening is Dillian Whyte is either leaning forward to avoid a shot, in particular the right hand, or he's missed his own right hand and he's leant forward and he's coming up. And it's always the thing that happens to him is he always comes back up afterwards. He pulls himself up. He's too square. His guard's too loose in the middle, and he doesn't get his head off the line. And this is why he keeps getting hit with uppercuts. But I need to show you the Fury one because this one's a little bit different, but equally as important in explaining the makeup of why he keeps getting stopped by this shot. So I promise you there's a reason I'm showing you this one, because you might think, well, Henry, we've seen all we need to see. We understand why this happens now. This shows another scenario that could play out with Itauma, which is why it's important to highlight it. It's another way that the uppercut lands. It's a similar fault, but for very different reasons. So you'll see here, Whyte's trying to close the gap on Fury, and that's a problem for Whyte because he's got slow feet and Fury's much longer than he is. So as he steps in, Fury just jabs him and moves his right back foot round at an angle. And then from this position here, you see Fury's foot position here. He just takes a little half step back, and this is what allows Fury to set up a counter shot. So he steps back here, and he brings his lead foot back, and you see now he's standing, he's maintained that distance, Whyte's got to close the gap again. Now, The problem for Dillian Whyte from here is, again, he's got slow feet. So watch what he does. He steps his back foot forward first. Back foot comes in. He brings his feet together. And this is a horrific stance from Whyte. Like, in terms of having balance, it's really, really poor. But to be clear, this is a technique that other fighters use too. Canelo, he has slow feet. If you go and watch the Bivol fight, Bivol capitalizes on it beautifully. But every time Canelo tries to close the gap on Bivol, he brings his feet close and he steps in. And if you time this movement, it becomes a footfall. It's only a footfall, as I always say, if your opponent can capitalize on it, and Fury very much capitalizes on it here with Whyte, as Bivol did to Canelo. So watch here, Whyte's feet have come together. Because his feet have come together, there's only one thing Whyte is going to do here, and that's step out of the narrow stance. He can't stay in that position. So as he steps forward here, Fury just jabs him. He times that movement, and because Whyte sort of then loses his balance, he has to bring his guard across here. His vision is slightly blurred. As he's stepping in, but he's going to continue stepping forward. He plants his foot. As he does that, Fury throws the uppercut. And if you look, the thing about Dillian Whyte here, again, as he's stepping forward, look at the position of his guard. Look at where his chin is. His weight isn't over his front foot this time, but his head is leaning slightly forwards. And because he's moving into the shot, it generates double the power. So that full momentum catches Whyte, and he goes down. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this one, again, it's the uppercut. Again, it's being too square. It is the weight coming forwards. But this time it's generated in the middle of the ring from a footfall. It's not just against the ropes. It's not just in a more close scenario up close where Dillian Whyte's either overthrown his own backhand or where he's tried to avoid an opponent's shot. This is in open play, if you like, which is where I think Itauma is at his very best. As me and Jamie broke down on the inside, Itauma's a bit more vulnerable. Potentially, there are some faults that he makes when he's trying to finish somebody on the ropes, on the inside, which is where I think Dillian Whyte will want to have this fight. I believe he'll want to... I think my prediction here is, I'm going to talk about more in my prediction video. I believe Dillian Whyte's going to try and rope-a-dope Moses Itauma in this fight. I think he's going to sit on the ropes. I think he's going to try and walk him onto something. That's what I think he's going to try and do. Or I think he should try and do. I think that gives him the best chance in this fight. I think in the open ring, it's Itauma's fight. He's too fast. He's too clever. Now, you might be thinking that, as I said in my intro, that the uppercut is some sort of massive magical off switch for Dillian Whyte. All you got to do is throw an uppercut, you got to hit him with the uppercut, and that's it. He's going to get knocked out. But actually, it's more the trajectory of the shot. It's more capitalizing on that fault of the fact he's too square and he leans forward to his front foot. His weight is over his front foot too much. To prove it, I'm going to show you this moment from the Joseph Parker fight. Again, some people may forget that Joseph Parker did knock Dillian Whyte down towards the end of their fight in the 12th round. And look, Dillian's exhausted here, so it's important to caveat it with that, but it is consistent with other tendencies I've been showing you. This time it's a little bit different, and I could see Itauma taking a lot from this. So if you watch here, Parker is looking to close the gap on Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is standing rather square. He's got his hands nice and low. He is tired. He's gassed, and Parker's been landing some big body shots. So what happens here? As Parker dips down, he goes to throw the right hand. What's beautiful about this, the makeup of this, forget Parker's level change for a second. I will talk about that momentarily, but watch. He throws the right hand. Dillian Whyte goes to dip under it. You see, he bends his knees. He tries to dip down, which is what we've shown is his tendency. He likes to dip underneath the right hand when someone throws it. The beauty of this is the level change from Parker, as I just mentioned. So watch. Parker from this position here dips down. So he dips, and the beauty of dipping first is that it changes the trajectory of the shot from being up here to the chin to being down here upwards. And why is that relevant? Well, as I've said to you, the reason the uppercut works is because Dillian Whyte's tendency is to lean forwards. And you'll have noticed in those other clips, even when he's avoiding the right hand, his whole body arches forwards. And whilst the other fighters he was in there didn't capitalize on that moment, they waited for him to pull up after leaning forward. Joseph Parker on this occasion actually hits him as he makes that initial defensive movement. And another fighter that's very, very good at changing levels and throwing shots is Moses Itauma. Me and Jamie talked about it in our tactical breakdown. Go and check it out. But... so you'll see here, he dips down, he changes the level, he throws the right hand, he's coming up, so it's an upward trajectory, just like an uppercut is. So what I'm trying to say to you here is, it's not just the uppercut, it's any shot that's coming from low to high as Dillian Whyte leans forward, basically. So watch, low to high, Dillian Whyte's coming forward, that lean forward there, his head's coming forward over his front foot, doubles the power of the punch, the gloves are here, so there's a gap through the middle, as Joseph Parker shows us. He lands this shot, it's a big, powerful shot, Dillian Whyte's instantly hurt. He falls back into the ropes, as you can see. And he's forced to take a knee. But on his way to taking a knee, you can see this possession he's ended up in here again. It's so often that his weight ends up over his front foot. So, those are the problems. Those are the reasons that Dillian Whyte gets hit with that uppercut so much. You know, he leans forward too much. He's too square. It just so often happens that when he throws his shots, that the weight ends up over the front foot. And that is to do with the fact that he doesn't have the best feet. He doesn't make those small adjustments that are needed to maintain balance. And he just pops up far too much with his chin too far forward with his hands too wide. Now, can Itauma capitalize on this? Well, we've actually seen him do some similar stuff to this in one of his fights in particular that I'm going to pull up for you now. And it's important to show this because you might be thinking, Henry, I haven't really seen Itauma throw too many uppercuts. Is that a shot in his arsenal? Well, it absolutely is, and I'm going to show you it here when he stopped Emain Bucheta in absolutely devastating fashion with the uppercut. Okay, so this is the moment that Itauma lands the devastating uppercut, and the reason I'm showing you this is because it's not just because he throws an uppercut, it's because of the similarities to how I think this could play out in a Dillian Whyte fight, the fight that's coming this weekend. Watch here, and there's so many things about Itauma that are important to note in this situation. So watch, he feints here low, and Bucheta instantly throws that lead hand out. And that's important because that's what Itauma will be looking to do. He'll be looking to draw the lead hand from Dillian Whyte. He'll be looking to make him feel uncomfortable. And it's just very similar to the AJ first knockdown in that sense. You know, AJ drew that lead hand. He made him miss. Difference with Itauma here as he pulls back. But why does this work? It works because Itauma's feet are so quick. His feints are so good. It creates that indecision in his opponent. Just like in the Fury fight, he's able to hold that space in front of you and take that little half step and make you miss and make you pay. Now watch what happens here. Bucheta extends the lead hand. He pulls back, and because he doesn't know when Itauma's going to go here, he gets nervous. Now, Itauma does step in with the jab here, and he brings his feet in as he does that. So watch, he steps in with the jab, lands it, so he's planted his foot, he's landed the jab through the middle of the guard there. Now, what is important is how he lands this uppercut. So watch, as he brings it forward, look, he's stepping as he punches, so this foot's planted, but he brings this foot forward, and the punch comes with it. So he's moving as he throws, so watch. He throws it, and watch. And what I want to draw your attention to here is what Bucheta does. So his body is like this, but he's going to step forward, and you're going to see his body arch forward as well. Very similar to the way Dillian Whyte does. And you can see how square he is. He's not side on at all. Not that that can be a problem, but if you're not a fighter with good head movement, being square is a big no-no. So watch. See how he leans forward there? He's actually leaning into the shot. He comes down, leans forward, boom. Itauma lands that huge uppercut, and Bucheta goes straight down. And then we'll see the finish here as well. I'll just let that play out. Itauma instantly gets him in the corner. He's throwing combinations, and again, it's actually an uppercut again. Bucheta's too square, his guard's too open, the uppercut finishes it. So long story short, I think that the fact that Whyte so often doesn't adjust his feet the way he needs to, the fact he squares up so much, he leans forward so much, and the fact that I've seen Itauma capitalize on this in another opponent, even though he's not Dillian Whyte, he's someone else, the dynamic is still there at play. It definitely makes me think that this is a big factor in this fight. Unless Dillian Whyte has been able to resolve that technical deficiency, it's something that he really should have addressed a long time ago, and maybe he has now. We don't know yet. I think the way Dillian Whyte approaches this is really, really important, and I'm not making my prediction in this video, but I just wanted to show you why that uppercut is being talked about so much, what actually is at play there, how it happens, and a couple of different ways that it's been landed on him previously, how you can force the situation where he is overreaching, where he is leaning forwards. I certainly think it's something Itauma can capitalize on, and I think Dillian Whyte needs to go in there with a game plan that will minimize the opportunity for Itauma to capitalize on that will minimize the opportunity and the chances of him actually creating this fall. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this analysis. I hope this all made sense to you. Please get a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to a guy called Henry if you're new. Please do consider using my pay-per-view link. Bang a like on the video. And as I always say, I will be live streaming this event, and I will have a prediction video coming out tomorrow. But as I always say, on to the next one.